Claire Newman wasn't expecting this. Not like this. Not tonight. Because the moment Holden Novak looked at her, she saw it. Not anger, not arrogance, not the guarded version he always showed the world. This time, he looked broken. And within seconds, everything changed. Because Holden didn't just reveal a secret, he dropped a truth that could decide life or death. Malcolm Winters is his father. And Holden might be the only one who can save him. That's the reality crashing down now. Hard, fast, unavoidable, and Holden doesn't know what to do. Claire feels the weight of it instantly, you can see it in her eyes. This isn't just some emotional confession, this is a life hanging by a thread. And Holden is standing right in the middle of it. He runs a hand through his hair, pacing, trying to breathe. But nothing is working, because everything he believed about himself just changed. His voice is tight when he finally speaks. He tells Claire everything. Malcolm, the paternity, the stem cell match. And the part that hits the hardest. Lily Winters is his sister. That lands like a shockwave. Claire doesn't interrupt. She doesn't rush him, she just listens. Because she knows this moment matters. Holden laughs under his breath. But it's not real laughter, it's disbelief. He says it feels like a bad joke. Like someone flipped his entire life upside down overnight. One minute he's dealing with his own secrets, the next, he's holding someone's life in his hands. Claire steps closer, slow, careful, she can see the conflict tearing through him, and she doesn't push. Instead, she asks one simple question, what do you want to do? Holden freezes, because that's the problem. He doesn't know, part of him wants to walk away, pretend none of this is real, because why should it be his responsibility? Where was Malcolm all these years? Where was the truth? Why now? Why like this? But another part of him can't ignore it. Because if he does nothing, Malcolm could die. And that's something he might never be able to live with. Claire sees it, that internal war. She gently reminds him he's not a bad person, and she knows that. Even after everything, even after the secrets, even after Los Angeles, that name alone tightens the tension between them. Because Holden hasn't been completely honest, not about everything, Claire hasn't forgotten that. And neither has he. There's a moment, a pause, where everything unsaid hangs in the air, but tonight isn't about that. Tonight is bigger. Claire tells him the truth. He's overwhelmed, anyone would be, and whatever decision he makes has to be his, no pressure, no guilt, just honesty. But then she adds something else. Something that sticks. If you walk away, can you live with it? Holden doesn't answer, because he can't, not yet. Not when the thought alone already feels heavy. Back across town, Lily Winters is falling apart, quietly, privately. Because this wasn't supposed to happen, she had hope. Real hope. When the tests were being done, she believed she could be the one to save Malcolm, she needed to be. But now, that hope is gone. Because her past cancer treatment disqualified her, she's not a match. She can't help. And that reality is crushing her. She sits with Traci Abbott, trying to stay composed, but Traci sees right through it. She always does. There's something deeper going on here, more than just concern, more than just fear, and eventually, Lily opens up. Not everything, not the full truth, but enough for Traci to understand. This is serious, this is personal, and this is tearing Lily apart. Traci listens with warmth, with patience. She doesn't interrupt, she doesn't judge, she just lets Lily speak. Because sometimes, that's what people need the most. Lily admits she feels useless, like she failed, like she was supposed to be the answer, and instead, she's nothing. Traci immediately shuts that down, gently, firmly. She reminds Lily, being there matters, support matters, love matters, and this isn't Lily's fault, not even close. But Lily still struggles, because deep down, she knows their asterisk is asterisk another option, Holden, her brother. Even saying that feels strange. Unreal, but it's true, and if Holden refuses, then what? Traci notices the shift. The hesitation, the weight behind Lily's words. She senses there's more, but she doesn't push. Instead, she offers strength, encouragement. She tells Lily, sometimes the hardest situations bring people together, even in unexpected ways. Even when it seems impossible, and maybe, just maybe, this could be one of those moments. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Malcolm Winters is facing his own reality. Time is not on his side, and he knows it. Dr. Simmons stands nearby, carrying her own guilt. Because this situation didn't have to unfold like this. Not with so much pain, not with so much delay. She finally admits it to Malcolm. She should have told him sooner, about Holden, about everything. Her voice breaks slightly, because she knows her silence cost them time, and time is the one thing they don't have. Malcolm listens, quiet, tired, but not angry, not in the way you'd expect. Because right now, he doesn't have the energy for anger, he only has one focus. Hope. Hope that Holden will step up, will get tested, will choose to help. Because if he does, there's a chance, a real chance, and that's everything. Stephanie promises something, no more secrets, no more delays, from this point forward. She's doing things the right way. No matter what. Malcolm nods, but his thoughts are elsewhere, on Holden, on the son he never knew, on the possibility that this connection could save his life. Back with Holden, the pressure is building. He sits down finally, hands clasped, head lowered. Claire stays beside him, not speaking, just present. Because she knows this decision can't be rushed. But it also can't be avoided. And Holden knows it too. He whispers something almost to himself. This changes everything. Claire doesn't disagree, because it does. In every possible way. Family. Identity, responsibility, it's all crashing together, and there's no easy answer, but there is a choice, and sooner or later, Holden will have to make it. Because Malcolm doesn't have time, and neither does the truth. So the question becomes, will Holden step forward, or walk away from the one decision that could define his entire life? Holden Novak can't escape it, no matter how hard he tries, no matter how much he tells himself to breathe, to think, to slow down, it keeps coming back. Malcolm Winters. His father, a word that still doesn't feel real, father, it echoes in his head like something borrowed, like something that doesn't belong to him, because how can it? A man he didn't grow up with. A man he didn't know existed. And now suddenly, that man's life might depend on him. It's too much, way too much. Holden leans forward, elbows on his knees, staring at the floor. Claire watches him carefully. She doesn't interrupt. But she knows he's close to breaking, not emotionally loud, not explosive, but the kind of breaking that happens quietly, internally, the dangerous kind. Holden finally speaks again. His voice is lower now, more controlled, but heavier. He says he keeps thinking about one thing. What if he says no? The question hangs there. Claire doesn't rush to answer, because she knows this isn't about right or wrong, this is about consequences. Real ones. Holden continues. He says if he walks away, he's choosing himself, his boundaries, his anger, his confusion, everything he has a right to feel, but if he stays, if he agrees to help, then everything changes. Because that means accepting Malcolm, accepting the truth, accepting a family he never asked for. Claire finally responds. Softly, she tells him something simple. Both choices are hard. Neither one is easy, and that's the truth he has to sit with, not avoid, not run from. Holden exhales slowly, because that's exactly what he's been trying to do. Avoid it, delay it, pretend there's more time. But there isn't. And deep down, he knows it. Claire shifts slightly closer, not too close, just enough. She reminds him of something important. This decision doesn't erase his feelings. He's still allowed to be angry, still allowed to question everything. Helping Malcolm doesn't mean forgiving the past. And that hits him. Because maybe That's what he's been afraid of, that choosing to help means surrendering everything he's felt. But Claire is right. It doesn't. And for the first time, there's a flicker of clarity. Small, but real. Across town, Lily Winters is still with Traci Abbott. And now, the silence between them feels different. Heavier. Because Lily is thinking about Holden, about what comes next. About what happens if he refuses. She finally says it out loud. She's scared. Not just for Malcolm, but for Holden, because this situation could break him. Traci listens carefully, and she understands. Because this isn't just about a medical decision, this is about identity, about history, about wounds that were never healed. Traci gently tells Lily. Sometimes people rise in ways you don't expect. Even when everything is stacked against them, and maybe Holden will too. Lily wants to believe that. She really does. But fear keeps creeping in. Because she's seen how complicated things are, she knows Holden is struggling, and she doesn't know if he's ready for something like this. Traci reaches for her hand. Grounding her, she tells Lily something she needs to hear. No matter what happens, they will get through it. Together, because that's what family does. Even when it's messy. Even when it hurts. At the hospital, Malcolm is growing weaker. It's subtle, but it's there. In the way he moves, in the way he breathes, in the way he pauses between words. Dr. Stephanie Simmons notices everything. She stays composed, professional, but inside, she's carrying guilt that won't let go. She replays every moment she stayed silent, every time she delayed telling the truth. And now, they're here, running out of time. She looks at Malcolm, and for a moment, she doesn't see a patient. She sees a man whose life could have been different, whose pain could have been less. If only she had spoken sooner. Malcolm senses it. He tells her to stop blaming herself. But it's not that simple, because some mistakes stay with you. Stephanie nods. But she doesn't argue, because deep down, she knows he's trying to protect her. Even now, Malcolm shifts slightly. And then he says it. He believes Holden will come through, not because he has to, but because of who he is. And that belief is the only thing keeping him going. Back with Holden, the weight of that exact expectation is starting to press in, even though no one said it directly. He feels it. From Claire, from Lily, from the situation itself, that he should do this, that he needs to do this. And that pressure is dangerous, because it makes the choice feel less like his. Claire notices the shift immediately. She sees the tension building again, and she steps in. She tells him something very clearly. No one gets to decide this for him, not her, not Lily, not Malcolm, not anyone. This is his choice. And his alone. Holden looks at her, really looks at her, and for the first time, he feels something different. Not pressure, not expectation, but support, real support. And that matters more than anything right now, because it gives him space. Space to think. Space to feel, space to choose. He stands up slowly, walking a few steps away, then back again. Still restless, still conflicted. But now, there's direction. He says he needs to see Malcolm. Claire doesn't react immediately, but you can see it. This is a step, a big one, not a decision yet. But movement. Forward. And sometimes, that's enough. Claire nods. She tells him she'll go with him, but Holden shakes his head. Not this time. This is something he has to do alone. Claire understands. She doesn't argue, she just tells him one last thing. Whatever he decides, he won't be alone, and that stays with him, as he walks away, as he heads toward a moment that could change everything. At the hospital, the atmosphere is quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that feels heavy, like something is about to happen. Malcolm sits there, waiting, not knowing what's coming. But hoping. Always hoping, and then, the door opens. Holden steps inside. Everything freezes for a second. Because this is the moment. The first real moment between them, father and son. Face to face. No secrets left. No distance left. Just truth. Raw and undeniable. Malcolm looks at him, trying to read him, trying to understand what this means. Holden doesn't speak right away. He just stands there, taking it all in. And then finally, he says one thing. I needed to see you. Malcolm nods slowly, because he understands this isn't easy. Not for either of them. There's a pause. A long one, filled with everything they haven't said, everything they don't know how to say. And then Holden steps closer, not all the way, but enough. Enough to show he didn't walk away, at least not yet. And in that moment, everything hangs in the balance, because what Holden says next will decide everything. Will he step forward and become the son who saves his father, or will he turn away and live with a choice that can never be undone?